Hi, Philip, Frank, Nick. Want to show you a bug that we've been able to reproduce on a whole bunch of machines. I think if we can get our headers around this bug, it's actually something that's coming up in a whole bunch of tools. This particular one is coming up in budget segregation. Just to give you some context here for where I'm at. I'm looking at a little stretch of river. I've got two concurrent DEMs from which I've calculated a DOD in a couple of different ways. You can see I'm in a project right here. You can see that if I go into my survey library, that this 2009 November DEM is coming up. This I'm really concerned about, that this is always showing this as this rounding error. This should be 0.1 even, and I think this might be where our problem is coming from here. But this is our survey properties of November 2009. This is our survey properties of November 2010. They are coming up exactly the same with this little rounding thing. Notice this, 963 and 1558. So remember those numbers, 963, 1558. So we know that those are okay, I guess in inverted commas, because we've got a couple of successful change detections run off of those. The problem comes when I go to run, and this happens with a whole bunch of different polygons. It doesn't seem to matter what polygon I use, but here's one that it happens on. Here's another one. Here's another one. All of them do the exact same thing. I'm going to use this junk 3, and I'm going to go into budget segregation and show you the error that happens. So it doesn't matter what DOD I use. I grab that junk 3. I use the text field here. Hit calculate. It's going to throw an exception error. And if I look at the details of that exception error, it says input layers are not concurrent. Now this is confusing to a user because they're inputting a shapefile, and at this stage the concurrency thing probably shouldn't even be an issue. But the reason it is an issue, if we look over here, we look at our results, I can see that it just started to do this polygon to raster. It didn't get any further than that. I can tell that because when I click on this, I go in here into analysis, into DODs, and it's made the geomorph folder, but it hasn't gone any further than that. So it didn't make any more of those, any CSV files. And where it's throwing this error, I think, is right here, polygon to raster. So I look at here, it's successfully converting that polygon input, junk 3, into a raster. If I were to open this up, I can see what it's doing here. And so here's polygon to raster, and I think that this is the problem. Look at that. The cell size this time, again, it's not 0.10, and instead of it being 0.0999 whatever, this is 0.100048. So it's using this rounding crap, and this is what's throwing it off. And so I think that then the underlying code, I'm presuming, still needs that raster. When it's this raster that it produced, that it's converted to. And so here's what happens. Remember, we said it was 963, I think. I can't remember. 1058. So if I go to this output raster, I add this to my display. Here's this output raster. So it's converted that successfully. I look at the properties of this, 964, 1558. So notice in the properties here, it only shows this as 0.1 and 0.1, and then 964 and 1558. Remember though, these guys are 963. So it's just this stupid rounding error, and that's what's killing us. And so we need to stop using whatever environment settings crap we're doing that keeps bringing this thing up, because this is happening all over the place. I think this is the same reason that this create concurrent grids tool is such a flaky pile of crap right now. I think we need to write our own code to actually enforce the concurrency, because the Esri garbage is introducing these rounding errors all over the place. So anyway, happy to talk to you guys about this and think about how we can fix this. But this is the heart of a bunch of problems that we're having. is this concurrent grid stuff, and we need to figure this out before we release this. All right, thanks guys.